Part 149. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1481. Farewell to the Immortal Emperor. Finally, 1.5 million immortals mentioned the word Immortal Emperor. You know, before this, they had always shouted the word Zhu Xian. The momentum stopped, the golden light dispersed, and the Immortal Emperor was gone. The gate of heaven also gradually closed. Zuyun recovered his thoughts and suddenly discovered that his realm had been broken through at some point. Void refining period. It is still the peak of the late stage of void refining. Incredible. Why did it happen so quickly? But Zuyun quickly accepted the fact. The belief of 1.5 million immortals is one of them. The second is that Qingping Fairy Kingdom has completely integrated into the universe world, and its original power has also increased accordingly. By the way, look at what happened to Chaos Lotus. Zuyun's heart condensed and he looked inside his body. Compared to before, Chaos Lotus has become more mature. The biggest difference is the 28 chaotic lotus hearts glowing with golden light. Does this mean that I can use the power of faith? Zuyun originally wanted to try it, but he felt that it was not appropriate at this time. He had plenty of opportunities to try it. Now, he had better settle down these immortals first. He did not intend to tell these immortals that they had become people in the universe. Everyone. With just a breath left, Zuyun prepared his speech. The Immortal Emperor's ascension shows that this world already has the hope of ascension. As long as you practice well, you will one day be able to attain enlightenment and ascend. This is a very convincing reason. Because they saw it with their own eyes. You must know that the Immortal King instigated them to rebel because the Immortal Kingdom cannot ascend, and everything is the Immortal King's conspiracy. But the conspiracy was destroyed by the Immortal Emperor's ascension. Zuyun even relieved the danger of Yang Huo. It can be said that these immortals will not have any doubts about every word he says now. Wish you immortality, wish you immortality, wish you immortality. Zuyun prepared many words, but he couldn't say any more. But that's fine, too much talk leads to mistakes. Simply Zuyun summoned Ji Tianqing. The Immortal Kingdom has entered my portable world, just let them practice well. Portable world. Ji Tianqing's expression changed and she said in shock, "You actually have a portable world. Is it weird?" When the Immortal Emperor heard his words, he was calm. This shows that Ji Tianqing is indeed far behind. But this can't be blamed on Ji Tianqing. After all, the Immortal Emperor is his ancestor and has lived longer. No wonder I can't count you out. It's because you have your own way of heaven. Ji Tianqing let out a long sigh, and then said, "That's fine, Qingping Immortal Kingdom cannot ascend. Although your heavenly Dao is incomplete, if they practice well and multiply, they can complement you." Ji Tianqing was also knowledgeable and knew the key immediately. "In the future, you will also ascend." Zuyun smiled and patted his shoulder. "When I ascend, I have to stay with the Ji family." Ji Tianqing touched her nose. Only then did Zuyun remember that it seemed true that apart from the Immortal Emperor and Ji Tianqing, no one in the Ji family had ever seen a third person. "I have no control over the Ji family's affairs. I can only assure you that the Ji family will be kings in this world for generations to come." Ji Tianqing laughed, "Okay, this is what you said." Zuyun glanced at him sideways and said, "Don't be too happy too early. If you do something that goes against the laws of nature, the position of the Immortal King can be Zhao Qian, Sun Li, Zhou Wu, King Zheng." Ji Tianqing's laughter stopped suddenly. Of course he knew that Zuyun was hitting him. After laughing twice again, Ji Tianqing said, "Don't worry, I won't do anything that violates the ancestral teachings." In comparison, the area under the jurisdiction of our Ji family has also become much larger. The implication was that Zuyun had previously said that he would hand over the entire universe to him. As long as you can manage it, what if I make you the king of the universe? Zuyun didn't care. He blinked and said, but the world of Dazhu is very big. If you want to manage it well, you must have enough people, right? There are 1.5 million immortals here. Plus some ordinary immortals with little fighting power. There could be at least 3 million people. For the vast world of the universe, this can only be said to be very little. I know, I have no problem letting them have more children. Ji Tianqing understood immediately. Okay, I have something else to take care of. I'll leave it to you, the immortals here. Suddenly, Zuyun's heart moved and he discovered the auras of Xiaolu and the Destiny Ancestral Beast. After the fusion of Qingping Immortal Kingdom, the incomplete heavenly Dao here was also destroyed by the Immortal Emperor. Then, this place is also part of his world. Under the influence of the original power, he can naturally sense farther places. I don't know if the 5 immortal kings from before ran away. Zuyun bid farewell to Ji Tianqing and used teleportation in full view of everyone. It has reached the peak of the late stage of refining the void. The teleportation distance directly became several miles away. The immortals had never seen such methods before, and they were shocked again. Zuyun teleported several times in succession and caught up with the Destiny Ancestral Beast and Xiaolu. Master, you made a breakthrough. Little Green transformed into a human form, looking extremely excited. You know, Zuyunka has been in the stage of becoming a god for a long time. And at this time, the majestic aura on his body does not look like the initial stage of refining the void. It's easy to make it happen, Zuyun smiled and asked, what about the 5 immortal kings? The Destiny Ancestor Beast did not answer directly, but turned into 12 rays of light and separated 12 extremely weak demon saints. Longwu said, fortunately, I have caught up with them. With Xiaolu's help, we killed them all. However, we also found the natural changes, so we rushed back without stopping. Xiaolu also said, yes, Master, it seems that a thunder tribulation has just descended. Logically, there is no heavenly tribulation in the refining void stage. Zuyun laughed and said, Qingping Immortal Kingdom has been completely integrated into the great universe world. The strange scene just now was the Immortal Emperor ascending. Ascend. Envy suddenly appeared in everyone's eyes. Do you want to ascend too? Zuyun narrowed his eyes and asked meaningfully. In his plan, both Xiaolu and the 12 demon saints were firmly tied to him. The situation in the immortal realm is unclear, and it may not be better than in the great universe world. It feels good. The great universe world may be the safest place. Longwu looked at the demon saints and hesitated to speak. He has the highest realm. If he concentrates on practicing, it is indeed possible to achieve the great Dao and ascend. But just at that glance, he suddenly realized something. It seems that ascending is not a wise thing. Then, if they want to achieve the great Dao, unless the great universe world has earth-shaking changes, it can allow them to live forever here. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1482. Actually, the fairy world is not peaceful. At this moment, Zuyun suddenly spoke up. Seeing that everyone was puzzled, he continued, in short, practicing well and improving your strength is the most important thing. I don't know where I will go in the future. I promise, if I'm fine, the universe will be fine too. If you stay here, you'll be fine too. They all knew what Zuyun was thinking, and their eyes showed gratitude. Zuyun looked at Xiaolu, by the way, where are those monsters? They are still in the broken immortal river. Xiaolu also thought about it and said, Master, you said that keeping these magical beasts would be useful, what exactly did you mean? Zuyun smiled and said, in the world of the universe, there are people, monsters, and demons. I just want to see what kind of world this world will become. That's it, not only Xiaolu, but also the 12 demon saints suddenly realized. They all know that the universe needs the origin. The original power is provided by human beings. This means that the more races there are, does it mean that the original power is stronger? Next, you still have a very important task. Zhu Yun's expression suddenly became serious. Master, please speak. Xiao Lu, you are responsible for taking those monsters out of the Duanxian River to find out if there are any extraterrestrial demons hidden within the borders of Qingping Fairy Kingdom. Long Wu, you just take the totem pole, find those demonized monsters, and make them all wake up. Remember to live in peace with the immortals here. A sage may be like a grain of sand. But Zhu Yun couldn't understand more deeply than the principle of gathering a small amount to make a large number. Yes, Master. Xiaolu and the demon saints said in unison and left one after another. The crisis in the universe has been eliminated, and they don't need to worry. They only need to search the entire fairyland and it will be completed naturally. It just takes more time. After giving all these instructions, Zhu Yun looked at Duanzai and he. Leng Bing took Daegu Ergu and others to Demon Dragon Valley. I don't know what the situation is over there. I don't even know if He Xianguan is dead. There is another question. Will the broken immortal river corrode the immortal roots of these immortals? Zhu Yun felt that it was necessary to find someone to give it a try. An ordinary immortal would definitely not be able to do this. But he already has a suitable candidate, and this person will take on the important task. One day later, Zhu Yun appeared in Demon Dragon Valley. The yellow sand gobi and the magic pillar reaching the sky have disappeared. This side of the mountain forest is still full of broken trees. It should be over there, let me go and have a look. Zhu Yun's heart moved, and his figure had disappeared. But after running for dozens of miles, Zhu Yun didn't find it. In addition to the various footprints left on the ground, large and small, they were obviously left by those demonic dragons. Zhu Yun had no other clues, so he simply ran in the direction of the footprints. An hour later, he finally saw those demonic dragons. A total of 20,000 people. He was very happy. The normal number of demon dragons in the Demon Dragon Valley was 10,000, but there were twice as many here. It was obvious that the demonized demon dragons had regained their sanity. It seems that this demon dragon king also has some abilities. He can restore these demon dragons without using totem poles. At this time, when the transformed demon dragon saw Zhu Yun coming, it jumped up and flew towards him quickly. Senior Zhu Yun. Feeling the terrifying aura on Zhu Yun's body, the transformed demon dragon quickly transformed into a human form and saluted. Where is the Dragon King? And where are fellow deist Leng and the others? They are in the ancient formation. Just 100 miles ahead. The transformed demon dragon said quickly. In the formation. Zhu Yun frowned and didn't ask more questions about the transformed demon dragon. He probably didn't know much. Instead of wasting time here, he might as well go over and ask. There is a natural change in the fairyland, and I don't know if it has affected this place. The formations and so on couldn't be more mysterious. After teleporting for a long time, Zhu Yun saw a huge pit. On the edge of the pit, stood the Dragon Demon King, Leng Bing, and Big Dog Ergu. But the only thing is that there is no excess paint. Zhu Yun's heart tightened and he immediately fell down. Where's the excess? Several people's thoughts were not on this, and they were all shocked when they heard Zhu Yun's voice. Xiao Zhu, you are finally here. After you went in, you never came out again. The big dog's face was full of eagerness. He is so good, why did he go in alone? Zhu Yun was well aware of Tu Tuo Tuo's nature, and also knew that De Go and Ergo would definitely protect Tu Tuo Tuo. This was obviously unreasonable, so he turned to look at the Dragon Demon King. Zhu Dao, Senior Zhu, it's none of my business. We solved the He Xianguan before, and Senior Leng also completely restrained the thorn demon. Seeing that the overall situation has been decided, Tu Duduo heard what I said. Here is a formation. He said he wanted to come over and have a look. Did he come on his own? After hearing the Dragon Demon King's explanation, Zuyun felt that it was really possible. If Tu Duduo didn't want to learn, he wouldn't have accepted him as his disciple. Not to mention him, even he would be interested in the formation when he saw it. This formation, what kind of formation is it? Zuyun frowned and asked. The Dragon Demon King breathed a sigh of relief and said quickly, I should have mentioned that our Demon Dragon clan moved to this Demon Dragon Valley in order to isolate ourselves from the world, but the demonic energy of the demons outside the territory has long been integrated into our blood, and it will happen from time to time. In order to solve this problem, generations of our Demon Dragon clan's ancestors have set up a large array here with their lives, so as to absorb the evil energy that can affect our intelligence. Zuyun's heart moved and he said, did the demonic energy of the heaven-reaching demonic pillar actually come from here? Remembering that Xianxia could hide in the fairy mist, Zuyun looked at the deep pit and felt a faint similarity. I don't know what kind of immortal route Xianxia broke through, which almost caused him to ruin a big thing. Even he felt a little frightened when he saw the magic pillar that reaches the sky. Friend Deist, first of all, congratulations on your breakthrough. Leng Bing stood up at this time and said with a smile, from what I can see, there will be nothing wrong with applying too much. It may be because you are addicted to this formation. Zuyun narrowed his eyes and said, fellow Deist Leng, do you have any insights? Although Leng doesn't understand formations and methods are similar but have the same effect. Elixirs, weapons, arrays, talismans, etc., none of them follow the principles of heaven and earth. This is the Qingping Fairy Kingdom, a land of human race. But the array is placed by the demon dragon according to his destiny. The purpose is obvious. In order to absorb evil energy. Humans, demons, the three races are intertwined. If I were to encounter this kind of technique, I would probably feel like a sin. Leng Bing was explaining his opinion to Zuyun. But unintentionally, a flash of inspiration flashed in Zuyun's mind. People, demons. In his universe world, aren't there three races of creatures now? No, if you add little green, there are four kinds. Zuyun vaguely felt that he had thought of something, but he couldn't catch the light. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1483. Perhaps it is not just the more creatures there are, but even the more species there are, that will make the world stronger. Different races have different cultivation systems. Under the heavenly way of the universe, only a stronger force can allow them to continue their cultivation. Zuyun guessed so, but his universe itself only has spiritual power. Just like outside the immortal mansion, the chaotic power of the void has no way to enter it. But once he introduced it into his body, the 5 elements Chaos Sutra he practiced changed. In the Jindan period, no pill was formed, but chaos seeds appeared instead. If I can integrate all the power in the universe together, can I also get close to immortal power? In the past, he guessed that chaotic power was immortal power. But later he learned that there are actually many kinds of immortal power. But generally speaking, the power controlled by immortals is called immortal power. Chaotic power is immortal power. Wind, cloud, thunder, and lightning are also immortal power. At this moment, he suddenly realized a truth. All the immortal power should actually be the power of the immortals themselves, used above the law. The ones who have recently received the law are actually the immortals of Qingping Immortal Kingdom. Their immortal roots are actually a manifestation of the law. However, after all, they belong to the lower world, and they can only use pseudo-immortal power. Then how can the broken immortal river corrode the immortal roots? I think it is also a law, right? Zhu Yun thought to himself, now that Qingping Immortal Kingdom is considered a part of the universe, there is no need for it to exist anymore. But before that, it is still necessary to try it first, so that those immortals can practice more at ease. The candidate Zhu Yun thought of was Shan Peng. At that time, the Demon Moon sect sent people in, and Shan Peng's immortal roots were damaged. Under the guidance of Zhu Yun, he practiced pseudo-immortal power with the method of refining qi, which was a new way. Although his immortal roots are still there, they are of no use. Let him try, it is more appropriate. Moreover, as a person from the immortal kingdom, he personally went to the broken immortal river, which is more convincing. As soon as Zhu Yun made the decision, the demon dragon formation also changed. Black light was seen flowing, and the countless remaining demonic spirits in the formation suddenly formed a black door. Do you? Zhu Yun was overjoyed when he saw the human figure. Meet Master. Hearing Zhu Yun's voice, Tu Du also rushed out from inside. Next time, don't be so reckless. Zhu Yun said with a smile. Yes, Master, it's just that the disciple saw this formation and was moved. The Demon Dragon King also said that the matter here is over and there will be no more danger, so the disciple broke in. Zhu Yun nodded and said, the Five Elements sect still needs you to take charge of the overall situation. If you want to break through, at least you have to deal with the affairs of the Five Elements sect. When you have time, you still have to think more about those children. Tu Du is also a kind-hearted person. When Zhu Yun mentioned it, he immediately understood what Zhu Yun meant. Master, rest assured, I will definitely make the Five Elements sect a famous and upright sect in the spiritual world. During this period of time, following Zhu Yun out, he can be regarded as a real worldly person and knows Zhu Yun's character. Unexpectedly, this slightly flattering remark was denied by Zhu Yun. It doesn't matter whether it is a famous and upright sect or a crooked and evil section, what matters is that if you are born as a human being, you should be a human being. Master, what you said. Tu Du didn't understand it for a moment. Think about it carefully, maybe you will understand it. Some things are useless to say by yourself, and you need to rely on Tu Du to understand them by yourself. He is already in the nascent soul stage. Even if he enters the spiritualization stage through his own guidance, there will be the refining void stage, the combination stage, the Mahayana stage in the future. Could it be that I have to stay on this yellow star and wait for him to ascend together? What others say is far less profound than what I understand. This is what the so-called master leads the way, and the practice depends on oneself. For so many years, Zhu Yun has relied on himself to understand and walk out of such a fairy road. Although there are dangers everywhere. But this crisis can't defeat him, so he will be even stronger after overcoming it. Big dog, second dog, you stay in Qingping Fairyland to practice, I'm going to send Du and Leng Dai back. Zhu Yun winked at the two of them, and then put one hand on their shoulders respectively. With a thought in his mind, Zhu Yun took the two and disappeared out of thin air. They appeared in the Nine Netherworld again. Leng Bing narrowed his eyes. Daiyu's magical powers are getting stronger and stronger, and Leng is a little confused. Zhu Yun smiled, those who understand will understand, and those who don't understand, when Daiyu Leng reaches a certain level of practice, he will understand. Leng Bing was speechless. He is already in the tribulation crossing stage. If he continues to practice, shouldn't he be an immortal? So, Zhu Yun's method is the same as his own magic skills, and comes from the immortal world? Tu Du didn't think much about it. When he returned to the spirit world, he could smell a familiar breath, but when they came in, they were not in the Nine Netherworld, but in the mortal world. This actually made him quite interested, and he respected Zhu Yun even more. His master was indeed amazing. Fellow deist Leng, the matter of the immortal kingdom has been resolved. Then, we have to deal with the matter of the evil cultivators in the spirit world. Leng Bing laughed, then his eyes narrowed, and he said, if my guess is correct, this should be the Demon Moon sect, right? It's just the Demon Moon sect, why is there no one there? Fellow Taoist Zhu, could it be you? Zhu Yun did not shy away and said calmly, yes, the Demon Moon sect was destroyed in my hands. They tried to murder the human race, and I did it. I wish you a friendly approach, Leng Bing praised, but his heart was stirred up. He didn't know much about the Demon Moon sect's background. But Zhu Yun is just a transformed god after all. No, it's the virtual refining period now. How did he do it? This shows how wise it was for me to choose to cooperate with Zhu Yun. I wish you fellow Taoist to rest assured. Leng will call all the demon cultivator friends who are in retreat in the 9 Netherlands right now. Zhu Yun nodded, turned to Tu Duduo and smiled, Duduo, you go all the way south to find the Xianguang sect, and find their sect leader Nangong Xiu or Fairy Xianxia. Say you are my disciple, and then tell them about the spiritual world. Life has changed, let them prepare. Yes, master. When Tu Duduo heard the conversation between the two, he knew that things in the spiritual world must be extremely complicated. Naturally, he did not dare to neglect and ran directly south. Leng Bing also said, bless you fellow Taoist, we will meet again in 3 days. After saying that, his figure disappeared instantly. After a long while, Zhu Yun sighed slightly and returned to the world of Dazhu. Originally, the world of Dazhu was small and I didn't think much of it, but now it has become bigger. I want to rush to the fairyland, but it is still a bit far. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzhuan Xianxia. Chapter 1484. Fortunately, this world was under his control, and Zhu Yun teleported one after another, all the way north. Several hours later, he came to the territory of Qingping Fairy Kingdom again. Along the way, he also thought about solving this problem. At first, he thought of setting up a teleportation array. City Lord Shui is the immortal root of space, so it would be perfect for him to take action. But then I thought about it, this world of the universe is his own world, and the sun and fire in the sky are refined by him. So is it possible that he can reach wherever he goes in the center of the universe in the future? The reason why it's not working now is probably because his realm is not enough. I don't know if I can reach that level before ascending. Returning to the fairyland again, Zhu Yunzi went to the imperial city and asked Ji Tianqing to summon Shan Peng. Wish, bless the immortal. Shan Peng was more reserved than before, as if meeting a stranger. Zhu Yun smiled and said, Shan Peng, I have something to ask you for help. He also deliberately kept a certain distance from Shan Peng. To put it bluntly, all these immortals will become his people. Zhu Yun requires everyone to be extremely pious in order to gain more power of faith. Zhu Yun, on the other hand, provides them with a world where they can ascend. This is not exploitation. But they complement each other. However, Zhu Yun did not have time to keep an eye on this matter in person. After giving instructions and asking Ji Tianqing to keep an eye on it, he returned to Zhuyu land. There are still 3 days left. Should we go and take a look, or should we stay here and wait for Leng Bing to come back? Ling Jian sect, confused Sword Cliff. Yezi, let me go, please let me go, how about I be your Taoist companion? I have to say that Tang Tiangang is truly a talented person. As strong as Nujiao, after being fused with Mengwei, this confused sword formation also has a very strong restraint effect on her. No matter how hard she struggled, she was unable to break free from the shackles of the stone pillar. Hearing this, Yezi didn't even raise his eyelids. I don't care who you are, before Zhu Yun comes, I can't be fooled by you. Also, Don't try to trick me into opening my eyes. Nujiao's only way to break the situation is her eyes. But the problem is, Yezhi is not fooled at all. Yezhi, look at me, please, just look at me, okay? I'm screaming right now. Nujiao gritted her teeth with hatred in her heart, and her previous threats turned into begging now. But Yezhi was unmoved. Elder Ye, Elder Ye. Something bad has happened. At this time, outside the fog, a rapid shouting suddenly came. Yezhi recognized it as Yu Yulin's voice. Ordinary disciples are not allowed to enter the confused sword formation. What happened? Yezhi stood up suddenly, turned around, opened his eyes, and ran out of the fog. I saw Yu Yulin, panting and looking anxious. Refining fairy, refining fairy. Lian Nishang. Yezhi frowned and said, what's wrong with her? Yu Yulin just looked panicked, but it wasn't that something happened to the Lingjian sect. Fairy Lian was seriously injured and bleeding all over her body. She was discovered by the disciples of the sect at the foot of the mountain. I rushed over to inform you. Fairy Lian should be in the sect master's palace now. Walk. Yezhi couldn't help but feel shocked. Lian Nishang was a nascent soul cultivator, and his strength was on par with him. This is an existence that can walk sideways in the entire mortal world. Even the spirit world can be explored. But how come he was seriously injured and ran back to Lingjian sect? Is it possible that something has changed at the 7-star gate? Yezhi grabbed Yu Yulin and flew directly into the air. After only a few breaths, he landed outside the sect master's hall. Pushing the door open, he saw Zhou Yu carefully helping Lian Nishang clean up the blood on her body. As for the injury, she didn't dare to move during the foundation building period. Fairy Lian, who hurt you? Yezhi strode forward. Before he could see the wounds on Lian Nishang's body, he felt from his breath that the situation was very dangerous. No. No one I know. Lian Nishang opened her eyes, very weak, and said, 7-star gate, is completely destroyed. If I hadn't been familiar with the coastline of Dongsheng realm, I'm afraid, I wouldn't be able to come back. You guys, run away. Lian Nishang spoke intermittently, as if he might die at any time. Yezhi looked down and realized that Lian Nishang's belly was actually empty. Where is your nascent soul? Dig, was dug. Ahem. I dug up your nascent soul alive. Yezhi's face was filled with disbelief. This was equivalent to Lian Nishang becoming a useless person. That monk was very evil, dug up my nascent soul, and then ate it alive. I took advantage of him to refine my nascent soul and escaped. Yes, otherwise Dongsheng realm is so far away from here, how could she run back? Fortunately, although nascent soul is not here, Lian Nishang itself has a single fire spirit root, so she can still run to a certain extent. But after running to the small town at the foot of the Lingjian sect mountain, there was no way he could continue. Wait a moment and recover first before talking. Yezhi took a deep breath and said, limited by the way of heaven, the strongest in the mortal world can only reach the nascent soul stage. And I am a sword cultivator, the strongest in the same realm. Even if he comes, what can I do? As he spoke, Yezhi was filled with endless sword intent. Immediately afterwards, he took out a pill from his storage bag. This is what Zuyun once left for him. You take it first, it's important to save your life. Lian Nishang smiled miserably. She originally thought that after receiving the notification, she chose to wait for death. But somehow, she still took it. Take good care of your injuries, and I will protect the Spirit Sword sect. Yezikian calmed himself down, winked at Yu Yulin, and walked out of the sect master's palace. Elder Ye, what are your plans? Yu Yulin is not young anymore. If he does not break through the pill formation, his lifespan may not be more than a few decades. Having a wife and daughter makes me less afraid of death. Wait. Yezhi just said this word. Yu Yulin was stunned for a moment, then heard Yezhi say again, in the name of Lingjian sect, I order all the casual cultivators to gather at the foot of the mountain. Elder Ye, are you going to fight to the death with that monk, Zhuai? That's right, Yezhi said with a fierce look in his eyes, if Lingjian sect is destroyed, they won't be able to survive. However, Yunzhou is a little too peaceful, and those monks must have lost their blood, so you can't tell them the truth will be given to those who are willing to come, and those who are unwilling to come will have their own fate in life and death. After saying that, Yezhi rose into the sky and flew towards Hyo City. The war is coming, he needs to prepare something. Hyo City is the place with the richest resources within 100 miles. Although it is not enough for him. But better than nothing. At the same time, above the endless wild sea, Sun Qinyang suddenly emerged from the sea. The broken immortal river can really come out, but, where is it? She looked left and right, remembering what Zuyun had told her about the relative positions of the four mortal worlds and the spiritual world, which was to fly out of the sea and fly into the sky towards the rising sun. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzhuan Xianxia. Chapter 1485. I didn't expect that there are still many Yuanying stage in the mortal world. This 7-star gate is really interesting. A yellow-robed monk with evil spirits opened his eyes with satisfaction, muttered, and took out the gourd again. Just a thought in his mind, a stream of black smoke came out of the gourd. The black smoke took shape and turned into the appearance of the 5 elements wanderer. Old friend, I searched the souls of the monks here, but I didn't find any news about the secret realm of the heavenly book. He squinted his eyes. It was Huang Laoxie. He came to the eastern mortal realm from the spirit realm, just passing over the sea, and happened to appear near the Dongsheng realm, and went directly ashore. Although his realm was limited, his evil magic was weird, and he killed the 7-star gate without leaving a single piece of armor. Originally, there were also cultivators from the Fire Dragon sect, such as Huo Maoang, who came here. After practicing hard, they cultivated to the Yuanying stage. They knew the secret realm of the heavenly book. But the Yuanying of these people were all swallowed by Huang Laoxie. As for the other cultivators, they originally came from the spirit sword section. How could they have heard of the heavenly book secret realm in the spirit world? Huang Laoxie searched their souls one by one, but found nothing. That's why he let Lian Nishang run away. Huang Laoxie, I don't have to lie to you. Wu Xing San Ren was also single, not afraid at all. Not bad, worthy of being my friend Huang Laoxie. Huang Laoxie took a move and took Wu Xing San Ren's residual soul back into the gourd. Humph, I don't think you dare to lie to me. Since no one in this broken place knows about the heavenly book secret realm, why not go to another realm to take a look? That female cultivator with fire spirit roots is really delicious. In such a short time, she can actually run so far. Maybe you know. Huang Laoxie threw the gourd, and the gourd instantly became larger. Then he stepped into the air, sat in the center of the gourd, and flew towards the direction of Yunzhou. Even though he was in the tribulation crossing stage, his realm was still suppressed, and his speed was not fast. But he was not in a hurry. After devouring Lian Nishang's nascent soul, he could sense the other party's position at any time. In this way, it took him 7 days to reach Yunzhou. Hey, the spiritual power here is even poorer than there. That female cultivator came here. Could it be that she wanted to recuperate and then become a waste for 1,000 years? The nascent soul was destroyed, but the lifespan was still there. He could live forever even though he could not practice. It's also because you didn't seek death, otherwise I really don't know where to inquire about the news of the heavenly book secret realm. Huang Laoxie grinned, revealing a mouthful of yellow teeth. After flying for a while, he came to the ruins of the Xianxia sect. This was originally a place where scattered cultivators gathered. But a few days ago, the Lingjian sect sent a message saying that there was something important to tell, and asked all Taoist friends to come down to the Lingjian sect mountain. Most of the cultivators who practiced in the Xianxia sect left immediately. And those who stayed were naturally the cultivators who did not get along with the Lingjian sect. Huang Laoxia put away the gourd and instantly landed among these cultivators. "Who are you?" A group of cultivators were shocked by Huang Laoxia, and they all stood up, took out their magic weapons and stared at him covetously. "Ants." Huang Laoxia showed disdain on his face. They were all in the foundation building stage. He was too lazy to talk nonsense. He waved his hand and laid a ban, trapping all the cultivators here. Then he casually stretched out his hand to one of them. Immediately, a cultivator in the foundation building stage headed forward and flew towards Huang Laoxia. Huang Laoxia closed his eyes slightly and grabbed the other person's head with one hand. After an incense stick. Spirit Sword Sect? Zhu Xian? Interesting. Earlier, he also searched for the 3 words Spirit Sword Sect in the minds of the cultivators of the 7 Stars Gate, but he didn't care too much. As for Zhu Xian? The cultivators in the mortal world have no vision. Maybe they saw someone from the spirit world and called him the word Xian. However, even the cultivators here have the words Zhu Xian in their minds, not to mention that there is more news about the Lingjian sect, which was sent a few days ago. There are many people there, so it should save more time. Huang Laoxia turned around and walked away, stepping into the air. The next moment, he clenched his fists slightly. Boom! The entire restriction was instantly blown up. These cultivators, no bones left. Poor mountains and bad waters produce unruly people. In this broken place, there is actually a sect with Lingjian as its section HA. Huang Laoxia continued to sit on the wine gourd with disdain on his face. This time, it took only about half an hour to arrive above the Lingjian sect. At the same time, he also felt the breath of Lian Nishang, who was in the Lingjian sect. Presumably, that woman came from the Lingjian sect. Huang Laoxia locked Lian Nishang's position and disappeared suddenly. The next moment, he appeared in the sect master's hall. "Master. You. Feeling a familiar evil spirit, Lian Nishang, who was quietly recovering from her injuries, opened her eyes in disbelief and saw a withered old hand grabbing her forehead. "You're quite good at running, but it's a pity that you can't run away." Huang Laoxia laughed. But at this moment, the door of the master's hall exploded, and a sword light attacked his wrist. "Huh? I didn't notice that there is another Yuanying sword cultivator here." Huang Laoxia frowned. Although he didn't take it seriously, if he didn't take care of himself, his soul search spell would be interrupted, which would cause him some damage. "Get out." Huang Laoxia retracted his hand that was grabbing Lian Nishang, and turned to throw it towards Yezi. "You're the one who's going to get out." Yezi roared, and with a turn of the sword, it turned from a stab to a slash, slashing towards the wrist. "You actually realized the meaning of the sword." Huang Laoxia was a little surprised. A nascent soul sword cultivator with sword intent could just stay in this mortal world, but what was he doing in this spiritually barren land? His expression became a little more serious. After dodging the sword, he began to formally attack Yezi. Yezi missed one move and then bullied him again. Sword cultivators must get close to each other to exert their strongest combat power. The main hall of the sect is not very spacious, which also restricts Huang Laoxia's performance. He was even more worried that his anger would affect other monks. If he tried to find out more information, he would have to find someone again. Thinking of this, Huang Laoxia jumped up and smashed through the sect master's palace. Bang! The roof was blown off, leaving a hole. Yezi's eyes turned cold and he chased after him. It just so happens that I haven't eaten yuanying in the past few days. I think Xianxia's yuanying is more delicious. Huang Laoxi licked his lips and grabbed Yeziyi from the void. But as soon as he took action, his spell was blocked. Because the world of Yunzhou is poor in spiritual power. But Yeziyi was not affected. He flashed past and knocked Huang Laoxi down with his sword. Roar! Huang Laoxi was furious. Although he was not seriously injured, this was simply a humiliation to him. Huang Tian is unkind, I will kill all beings in the world with evil methods. He roared and recited the magic formula, and instantly the sky turned yellow. Like sand, Yeziyi is also enveloped in it. I have a sword in my heart. Wherever my heart goes, that's where the sword goes. The guard Nujiao has been keeping his eyes closed for the past few days, which actually made him realize a higher level. Heart sword. In the yellow mist, sword light struck. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1486. Stab. A scratch suddenly appeared on Huang Laoxi's chest. Boy, you can actually find me. He was extremely shocked. Even though he was controlled by the way of heaven, it was difficult for him to completely suppress his aura. But he won't be discovered by a real nascent soul stage. Then what is the meaning of this evil method he practiced? Yeziyi ignored him and instead listened to the argument, causing his heart sword to lock the opponent's position. Call out. A sword broke through the fog, and the sword light struck directly towards Huang Laoxi's eyebrows. Huang Laoxi's expression changed from surprise to solemnity. I thought that this was a swordsman who could get along with me a few times. But I didn't expect that he had the power to hurt me. Huang Laoxi admitted that he had underestimated the enemy, so he concentrated on controlling the yellow mist. The yellow mist circulated and quickly solidified in front of him. Affected by this, Yeziyi's sword speed also became slower. Boy, you are very strong, but it's a pity that you met me. Huang Laoxi sneered. Yeziyi slowed down, but he would not be affected in any way. Taking advantage of this advantage, he reached out and dug towards Yeziyi's lower abdomen. He wants to take out Yeziyi's nascent soul. Yeziyi was unmoved, he just turned his attack to defense and held the spirit sword in front of him. He also misjudged Huang Laoxi's strength. In other words, he has no idea how strong he can be in the tribulation stage. Click. The spirit sword snapped. Yeziyi's entire body was knocked away. Elder yet. No one had any idea what was happening in the yellow mist, and they were unable to step forward to help. When they saw Yeziyi flying out of the yellow mist, everyone screamed in unison. The Lingjian sect has laid out a dragnet. But to no avail. No one, including Yeziyi, expected that Huang Laoxi would directly lock on Lian Nishang's position and teleport over. I'll help him. Yu Yulin gritted his teeth and said to Zhou Ruyu, the great master will definitely chase Elder yet. You hide Senior Lian, and take Lingshan away, and let the other disciples escape for their lives. When he said this, he was already determined to die. Rainforest. Zhou Ruyu called out softly. He wanted to live and die together, but when he thought about his daughter, he swallowed the words again. Take care of yourself. Don't worry, Yu Yulin left these two words, took out the spirit sword, and chased Yeziyi with his sword towards the place where he fell. And through the yellow mist, Huang Laoxi also saw what was happening outside. But he almost suffered a loss, so he became more cautious. In Yeziyi's battle, even though he only had a few moves, he still felt threatened. He will only eradicate the root cause after he is sure that everything is fine. Controlling the yellow mist, Huang Laoxi slowly flew away. until he saw a strange cliff. From a high place, there is a mountain road leading up from the cliff, with sword-like stones on both sides. But downwards, there was a fog that even he couldn't see through. Yezhi fell under this fog. Is it such a coincidence? Huang Laoxi stood in the air for a long time, and then the yellow mist wrapped around his body and slowly landed on the misty sword cliff. Yu Yulin, Yezhi's spiritual sword was destroyed, his body suffered backlash, and he was severely injured. Every time he said a word, there was a heartbreaking pain in his lower abdomen. To make a long story short, take me into the confused sword formation, then you leave again. Yu Yulin followed Yezhi directly and finally caught him before he fell, thinking that he might be able to temporarily avoid Huang Laoxi's pursuit if he happened to arrive at the misty sword cliff. I won't leave, Yu Yulin said decisively. If I leave, how can I play hide and seek with that senior? Yezhi silently knew immediately that Yu Yulin wanted to sacrifice himself to delay. He was also powerless to speak, and could not persuade him through a whole argument. Then, take me to the center of the formation. Remember, no matter what happens, don't open your eyes. Seeing that Yezhi no longer drove him away, Yu Yulin breathed a sigh of relief. He was familiar with the confused sword formation. It was only after the incident between Menghui and Nujiao that I couldn't close my eyes. Good. Using his spiritual power and carrying Yezhi on his back, Yu Yulin headed straight for the mist formation. Keek, Yezhi, why are you injured? They both heard Nujiao's voice at the same time. With sarcasm and ridicule. Yezhi was unable to speak, and Yu Yulin was told not to open his eyes, so he simply kept his mouth shut. Nujiao asked for trouble, and immediately gritted her teeth and shouted, "You are going to die anyway, someone will come here one day, and then I can escape with my life." Magian Cliff, the way down the mountain. Huang Laoxi went down cautiously, and soon discovered the red blood stains on the mountain road. It's very fresh. It was made by that sword. He dipped his finger into it and put it between his nose, and could smell Yezhi's scent. It seems that his natal spiritual weapon was damaged and he was seriously injured. He wants to use this fog to hide, haha. Huang Laoxi saw Yu Yulin chasing after him earlier. A foundation building stage and a seriously injured nascent soul stage. I can't afford to stir up any trouble. Unless there is an ambush in this formation. But it's obviously impossible. If there is, it is also ambushed in the main hall of the section. Why do they need to be broken up by me separately? Huang Laoxi immediately relaxed a lot, put away the yellow mist, and plunged straight into the mist. But then, he was surprised to find that in the mist, his soul was restricted and he could only observe with his naked eyes. But the mist was so heavy that how could the naked eye see through it? For a moment, he was afraid that Yezhi would ambush here and make a last desperate struggle, so he slowed down his pace and looked around. Just walking around like this, suddenly the mist in front of him disappeared, and he saw a stone pillar that reached the sky. Under the stone pillar, there was a female cultivator tied up. Such a result made Huang Laoxi stunned. He guessed that there might be someone in the mist, who would be Yezhi's helper, although the possibility was very small. But seeing Nujiao like that, it didn't seem like she could help. Just like this, Nujiao also looked over quickly. With their eyes facing each other, Huang Laoxi suddenly found that he seemed to be trapped in a deep abyss. Until he seemed to step on a solid place, he suddenly opened his eyes. All around, it was pitch black. And in front of him, there was a huge platform. On the platform, there is a huge treasure chest tied by ropes. Come on, in this treasure chest, there is the treasure you have always dreamed of. A very tempting voice suddenly came from his ears, and Huang Laoxi walked forward involuntarily. So there is a treasure here. He thought to himself, but in just a moment, his hand had touched the rope. Untie it, after untying it, it will be yours. The voice was so persuasive that Huang Laoxia was completely tempted by it. After you get it, you can prove the truth, and ascend. After the voice fell, Huang Laoxia suddenly opened his eyes. The scene in front of him changed, and he realized that what he had untied was actually the restraints on Nu Qiao. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1487. Huang Laoxia was horrified to find that he had lost his mind and was controlled by someone. He was worried that someone from the Spirit Sword sect could threaten him. He was so careful, but he still fell into someone else's trap. If it weren't for the female voice mentioning the words of attaining enlightenment and ascending, he probably wouldn't have woken up. Because Huang Laoxia was not thinking about ascending at all. He had more important things to do. Who are you? Huang Laoxia suddenly retreated to the back, his back tightly pressed against the edge of the fog. This fog was very strange, and even the soul could not spread. He was afraid that only he would be restricted, and people would not be affected. Nu Jiao stretched her body and walked out from under the stone pillar, revealing her beautiful body. I am your treasure. Don't try to deceive me. Huang Laoxi's face tightened, and he condensed a ball of yellow mist to protect himself. No one in the mortal world can control my mind. Who are you? I am just a demon cultivator who was locked up here. Senior, I am weak, you shouldn't blame me, right? Nu Jiao said, her tone became extremely innocent. At the same time, after leaving the stone pillar, the demonic energy in her body began to rise rapidly. In just a moment of speaking, Nu Jiao went from the foundation building stage to the elixir forming stage. She was even continuing to improve her realm. Don't try to confuse my mind. Huang Laoxi was horrified. This female cultivator's every frown and smile, even a move, would make his mind tremble. Could it be that she was also an evil cultivator from the spirit world? She was practicing the art of evil charm. How dare I? Nu Jiao flirted with Huang Laoxi, frightening him so much that he quickly closed his eyes. It was pitch black in front of him, but Nu Jiao's figure kept floating around. At this moment, he finally recognized Nu Jiao. I've seen you in the Five Elements sect. He was speechless. How could an insignificant demon cultivator at that time still affect me in the mortal world? Nu Jiao laughed out loud, and now she has reached the nascent soul stage. So the senior is obsessed with me, I'm really flattered. Senior, you have to open your eyes and take a good look at me. You're looking for death. After confirming Nu Jiao's identity, Huang Laoxi couldn't help but be furious. Being played around in the mortal world, if it spreads to the evil cultivators in the spiritual world, I'm afraid it will be laughed at. He stretched out his hand and condensed a ball of yellow mist, which turned into a huge palm and slapped Nu Jiao. Unexpectedly, Nu Jiao was much stronger than he imagined. Even at this time, she was already in the nascent soul stage, and Huang Laoxi could not do anything to her at all, and was easily dodged. At the same time, her hands were also full of demonic energy, condensed into a demonic knife, and stabbed towards Huang Laoxi's heart. The senior has been thinking about me all the time, so I will leave you an unforgettable memory, okay? With a smile like a flower, if there was no knife in her hand, no one would have thought that Nu Jiao wanted to kill the person in front of her. Yezhi was powerless to respond, but just reluctantly kicked Yu Yulin, signaling him to take the opportunity to leave. Otherwise, dying in Nu Jiao's hands would be in vain. As for him, he never wanted to live at all. Yu Yulin was not afraid of death, otherwise he would not have followed here. However, something suddenly happened here, and the news must be taken out. Otherwise, Zuyun came back, no one knew what happened here, and Yezhi died in vain. He quietly hid in the mist, and took advantage of the fact that the mist could not be penetrated by his spiritual consciousness and soul, and ran away. Once out of the mist, he drew his long sword and ran towards the main hall of the Lingjian sect like crazy. But suddenly, a sword light fell down. A delicate figure blocked his way. Yu Yulin, how long have I been gone? Why is the Lingjian sect in such a mess? Hearing this familiar voice, Yu Yulin raised his head in disbelief, and found that he was not mistaken. He was actually sitting on the ground and crying. Grand Master, you are finally here. The sword formation, Elder Yet is seriously injured. There are strong enemies inside. What did you say? Sun Qiniang's face suddenly froze. She wanted to question Yu Yulin for his poor handling of the matter. How could such a large Lingjian sect flee one by one, and there were countless cultivators in the town who seemed to be preparing some formation. She thought that the Spirit Sword sect had done something that angered the heavens and the people. So, she did not attack the monks at the foot of the mountain, but planned to go directly to Zhou and Yu Yulin. Grand Master, it's hard to explain for a while, I'll take you there. Fairy Mengwei suddenly became a different person, and now she is fighting with a senior who is full of evil spirit. Wei is in trouble. Yezi's serious injury is not good news. Even Mengwei was implicated. How could Sun Qiniang bear it? Go wherever you should go, I'll go to the sword array to see. Sun Qiniang's figure flashed and teleported directly. When he appeared outside the sword array, he already held the Wind and Thunder Dragon sword in his hand. Huang Huang, you go to the upper array. She flicked her sleeves and left a trump card for herself. Then, she plunged into the mist. Being in the mist, she could not use her soul. But fortunately, the sound could be transmitted. She heard Mengwei's voice. Also heard a strange and evil voice. At the same time, there was a powerful evil spiritual power and demonic energy intertwined. Evil cultivator. Sun Qiniang recognized it immediately, because she also had the spiritual power of the dirty Taoist master. Evil cultivator actually came to the mortal world and killed the Spirit Sword sect, damn it. Sun Qiniang ran towards the direction where the voice came from. In just a moment, she had already drilled out of the fog and saw Yezi, who was affected by the evil and demonic energy, spitting blood continuously. Senior brother yet. Sun Qiniang had the memory of Jian Tianming, so she naturally called Yezi senior brother. Why are you here? Go away. Yezi's face changed and he shouted immediately. While speaking, he spit out 3 more blood arrows. Sun Qiniang. Another woman came. Nu Jiao and Huang Laoxie suddenly stopped and ran to the side. Are you Mengwei or someone else? The voice was exactly the same, but Sun Qiniang still immediately heard Nu Jiao's tone, which was completely different. Jian Tianming and Mengwei have been fighting for half their lives. And she became a close friend of Mengwei. They were even rivals in love. It is no exaggeration to say that she knows Mengwei better than Zuyun. He, Nu Jiao laughed, Qiniang, I am Wei, help me kill this evil cultivator quickly, I will tell you another good news. Sun Qiniang frowned and did not agree, nor did she attack Nu Jiao. Instead, she took out a pill from her arms and stuffed it into Yezi's mouth. You guys continue, I'm just here to watch the fun. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1488. Huang Laoxie and Nu Jiao were both stunned by this decision. When Huang Laoxie heard Nu Jiao calling out Sun Qiniang's name, he was afraid that the two of them would join forces. Nu Jiao's methods are too weird. Especially those eyes. If you take one more look, your mind will be affected immediately. In fact, he has to thank heaven for preventing Nu Jiao from continuing to break through and being trapped in the nascent soul stage. Nu Jiao, on the other hand, couldn't understand even more. Since Sun Qiniang came here, she must have met Yu Yulin. Yu Yulin must have told him that Yezi was injured by Huang Laoxie. Due to both emotion and reason, she would join forces with herself and kill Huang Laoxi first. But who could have imagined that she could make such an unexpected move? However, it is understandable that under the situation of seeing through, sitting on the mountain and watching the tiger fight can fully show Sun Qiniang's wit. Qiniang, if you don't help me, everyone in the spirit sword sect will die. He is an evil cultivator in the spirit world. When Nujiao's plan failed, she changed her reason. At the same time, she continued to attack Huang Laoxi, flicking her sleeves and throwing out countless black shadows. Huang Laoxi sneered and said, I am an evil cultivator, but you are a demonic cultivator. Your methods are weird and unusual, and you must have harmed more people than me. Not only did the two of them keep touching each other, but they also never stopped talking. On the contrary, Sun Qiniang seemed to have been observing Yezhi, but in fact, her attention never relaxed. Little junior sister, Yezhi quickly dissolved the potion and alleviated some of his injuries. Although he was no longer strong enough to fight, it didn't hurt any more to speak. Wei suddenly met someone who was exactly like her, and then they merged together, and then the demonic energy surged. Yezhi highlighted the abnormalities on Meng Wei's body and told Sun Qiniang. Exactly the same, could it be that, he is the man in her dream? Sun Qiniang's face couldn't help but change. Meng Wei told her about the man in the dream. But now that her temperament has changed drastically and she has become one again, could it be that the person in the dream and her are actually one body? Like a bird's good thoughts and evil thoughts? Sun Qiniang had a lot of experience and quickly thought of this possibility. Although this was not the case, it made her guess that it was close to the truth. It seems like the person in the dream has the upper hand, and I don't know if Wei's sanity is still alive. Sun Qiniang also experienced repeated battles with Jian Tianming. If she hadn't been determined, she might have been taken away by Jian Tianming. Both she and Jian Tianming are talented people. In the end, she took control of this body, successfully defeated Jian Tianming, and then merged together. Wei's mind is also very firm, especially when it comes to Zhu Yun. Sun Qiniang made a difficult decision. In order to save Meng Wei, she should give up something. Senior brother Ye, can you take action? If you can, leave the confused sword formation. I'm afraid that if a fight breaks out later, it will affect you. Sun Qiniang used this as an excuse to send Yezhi away. Because if what she said next was heard by a fourth person, it would probably reach Zhu Yun's ears. Yezhi immediately believed Sun Qiniang's words. Seeing that she was so confident and could even sit down and watch the show before, he thought that Sun Qiniang had everything in her mind. Little junior sister, don't be arrogant. Yezhi said solemnly. Sun Qiniang smiled slightly and said, Junior sister, I have a sword body, a superb spiritual sword, and a phoenix fire. I am afraid I am invincible in this mortal world. Such arrogant words made Yezhi suddenly feel like he was in a dream, as if he had seen Jian Tianming back then. Junior sister, take care. Yezhi stood up and got into the fog. After a while, Sun Qiniang felt that Yezhi was far away, so she smiled slightly and pointed the Thunder Dragon sword at Huang Laoxi. Wei, let me help you. The tone is very light, but it reveals the sword intention. Buzz. The Wind and Thunder Dragon sword flashed with lightning in an instant. Immediately afterwards, she commanded the Phoenix fire, and the shadow of the real Phoenix instantly appeared on her body. The sword is my destiny. After uttering a word again, Sun Qiniang's whole body was filled with awe-inspiring sword intent, and sword aura wrapped in Phoenix fire emerged from her body. You have the smell of dirty Taoist friends. Huang Laoxi was shocked. No matter it was the Phoenix fire, the sword energy, or the lightning on the Wind and Thunder Dragon sword, it was impossible for Huang Laoxi to be frightened. After practicing evil methods and living for so many years, how broad is his vision? but Sun Qinyang's intentional actions made him feel the aura of the Zhang Dao master. That's because, Sun Qinyang laughed out loud, just like Na did when she and Zhu Yun first met, chatting and laughing in the carriage. "I'm dirty." As soon as these 4 words were spoken, Nu Jiao suddenly found herself trembling. Logically speaking, she shouldn't be affected like this. No longer controlled by the confused sword formation, she integrated Menghui into her eyes again. The magic eye returns, and she is the saint of the holy demon tribe again. The only person who could make ripples in her heart was that man. The dead southern immortal emperor. But obviously, Sun Qinyang didn't mention anyone? Why did I react like this? In this moment of confusion, Sun Qinyang said again, "Wia, let's join forces to kill him." This sweet shout brought Nu Jiao back to her senses instantly. No matter what, we must kill this evil cultivator first. Although he had recovered his complete holy demon body, he still lacked his lifelong magic sword. If Huang Laoxia had evil cultivators with him, he would be frustrated. "Qinyang, I'm coming." Weighing the pros and cons, Nu Jiao decided to kill the evil cultivator first. As for Sun Qinyang's sudden change, she was a little confused. But she couldn't care less. The two of them immediately joined forces. Nu Jiao took the initiative to cooperate with Sun Qinyang according to Menghui's memory. Sword light, demonic energy. Huang Laoxia was defeated and was not his opponent at all. Sun Qinyang had a unique talent and a unique understanding of the sword. Needless to say, even though she had just entered the nascent soul, her magic eyes could see through the flaws of Huang Laoxia's yellow mist. Finally, Huang Laoxia wanted to leave, and cursed Wu Xing San Ren in his heart. "When I leave and find a safe place, I will torture your residual soul to vent my hatred. The yellow fog is all over the sky, rise." Finding an opportunity, Huang Laoxia used his strongest move. All the evil energy in his body exploded. Wherever he went, the yellow fog rose. "Run!" Huang Laoxia turned and left, wanting to escape into the fog. As long as he got out of the fog, he would be able to escape alive. He didn't believe that Sun Qinyang also had a heart sword. Sun Qinyang didn't have a heart sword, but Nu Jiao had a magic eye. "Qinyang, then." Nu Jiao immediately threw out a black shadow to chase after her. Sun Qinyang sneered and threw out the Wind and Thunder Dragon sword. The Wind and Thunder Dragon sword, she had never used the unique magical power of the Feng family in the Sword Valley above. Swish! The sword light struck and pierced through the back of Huang Laoxia. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1489. Impossible, absolutely impossible, how can your sword be so fast? Huang Laoxia was horrified, but the severe pain in his back told him that all this was extremely true. Use the speed of wind, use thunder to defeat evil. The Feng family of Jiangwu, although not strong in combat power, has been able to stand in the spiritual world for many years, and naturally has unique insights and uses in wind's spiritual power. And this thunder is the thunder power in Ye Yuan's thunder immortal hammer. This sword is a sword embryo refined with the body of the sword, and the soul of the real dragon is the sword spirit. If Sun Qinyang continues to nurture such a sword, I am afraid it will have the appearance of an immortal sword. Naturally, it can hurt Huang Laoxia in the tribulation crossing period. If it is in the spiritual world, Sun Qinyang may not be able to hurt the opponent's hair. But this is in the mortal world. As long as it is a living being of Huang Mingxing, it will naturally be restricted by the way of heaven. Unless, it is contaminated by the way of heaven in other worlds. Such as the immortals of Qingping Immortal Kingdom, or those who have been to the world of the universe. It's nothing more than the influence. Evil cultivator? That's all. Sun Qinyang showed a sarcastic smile, and then she pinched the sword formula in her hand. Sizzle. Countless lightning bolts emerged from the sword, and instantly hit Huang Laoxie's whole body. In just a moment, Huang Laoxie's whole body turned black under the lightning. His body was dead. If Huang Laoxie was still conscious, he would regret coming to the East Fan realm to find the secret realm of the heavenly book. Qinyang, you have become so powerful now. As soon as Sun Qinyang took back the Wind and Thunder Dragon sword, Nujiao immediately complimented her. I saw a subtle sadness flashing in her eyes, pretending to be casual. No matter how powerful I am, what can I do? After that, she sat on the ground holding the sword. Nujiao's heart moved, and she didn't know what to think. She also sat down and said, "You are so powerful that you have cultivated successfully. Don't you cultivate immortals for the purpose of ascending to heaven?" "You know it," Sun Qinyang sighed and said, "At first, I killed Zuyun for my brother's revenge. Later, Zuyun's words enlightened me, and my heart was on Zuyun. I thought I could snatch Zuyun from you. Did Zuyun say anything to you?" Nujiao learned from Meng Wei's memory that Zuyun went to a place called Qingping Fairyland from the Misty Forest. But there was nothing about Qingping Fairyland in her memory. I just guessed that this might be related to Qingping Star. Nujiao was once a member of the Saint Demon clan, and the Saint Demon clan was in the Chaos Star Sea, not too far from Qingping Star. But this place is far away from Qingping Star, and it may just be a relationship of similar names. What she cares more about is to find out the news about Zuyun and take the universe glass mirror. The immortal emperor is dead, and this is his only relic, which may have some remnants of the immortal emperor. If possible, after returning to the immortal realm, it is possible to use the supreme magic to revive the immortal emperor. Even if it is just a puppet without the thoughts of the immortal emperor. Zuyun said I was dirty. When it comes to acting, Sun Qinyang is never inferior to anyone, and she has made a decision in her heart, but she doesn't need to pretend to feel lost. With these words, Nujiao was overjoyed, and she completely forgot that there was some movement in the demon soul. I thought Zuyun was not that kind of person, and he wouldn't care about my past. Sun Qinyang seemed to be getting more and more excited. Wea, you know my past. This body is not my original body, but another body created by Jian Tianming when his golden elixir left his body and hid in it. But my feelings for Zuyun are pure. You said Zuyun, how could he dislike me? When did a cultivator in the god transformation stage care so much about his innocence? Is a man like this? Is he a clean person? Nu Jiao seemed to be infected by Sun Qinyang, and couldn't help but think of an incident in the Holy Demon Clan. Not only the Holy Demon Clan, but even all the demons never care about innocence. If two demons fall in love with each other, they may have a night of pleasure and become strangers again at dawn. They just take what they need. The male demons just vent their demon desires. The female demons do it to give birth to stronger offspring. However, Nu Jiao has never encountered this. After all, her identity is transcendent. But because of this, when she followed the immortal emperor and was willing to become his maid, she caused a great uproar in the Chaos Star Sea and the entire demon clan. But no one knew. The immortal emperor had never touched Nujiao. Except for asking her to serve tea and water, she was always locked in the bedroom of the immortal mansion. And how could the immortal emperor sleep in the bedroom? Sun Qinyang's words made Nujiao a little excited, but she still remembered her purpose. Zuyun is too inhuman, how could he do this? Then where is he now? Tell me, I will help you vent your anger. Sun Qinyang raised her head, tears streaming down her face, and said, I'm not sure. After he hurt my heart in Qingping Immortal Country, I came back alone, and I don't know where he went. Nujiao asked this question. How could she not know the other party's purpose? Sun Qinyang knew that she was dancing on the edge of a knife with such a false attitude. If she was not careful, she would definitely die at such a close distance. But in order to save Mengwea, she had to take such a risk. One of the bottom lines is that Nujiao cannot be sure of Zuyun's location. Qiniang, it's like this, you still speak for Zuyun. Nujiao also pretended to be angry, with a tone of regret. After all, she let me walk out of this road to heaven, but what should I do next? Originally, I cultivated immortality just to help him on the immortal road. But now, she doesn't need me, what's the point of my cultivation like this? While speaking, Sun Qiniang slowly turned the wind and thunder dragon sword in her hand and pointed the tip of the sword at her lower abdomen. Wea, if you can meet Zuyun, don't mention me again, lest my death will affect his Tao heart. As the voice fell, the wind and thunder dragon sword suddenly flashed with lightning and went straight to Sun Qiniang's lower abdomen. Qiniang, don't. Nujiao screamed and quickly reached out to grab the sword. Her delicate palm suddenly grabbed the sword body and cut a bloody wound. Blood gushed out like a spring. The piercing pain also made Nujiao tremble suddenly, with an incredible look on her face. She died, so why would I do this? Nujiao stared at the blood flowing from her fingers in a daze, not knowing that the action just now was caused by Mengwea's soul bursting out in an instant. And Sun Qiniang, from the tone just now, was sure that Mengwea was just like herself back then, and his soul had not dissipated at all. I started my cultivation by picking up the immortal skills. Author, Banzuan Xianxia. Chapter 1490. She is a proud person. Even if she cares about Zuyun, she will not seek death just because Zuyun prefers Mengwea. All this is just to save Mengwea. But after that, she will not have any feelings for Zuyun. Those words seem true but false. But if she says it and does not do it, it will leave a flaw in her Tao heart. This is why she is so determined. It seems that we need to take a strong medicine, and then help Wei regain his body. Sun Qiniang suddenly threw the wind and thunder dragon sword like crazy, and said, Wei, why do you care about my life and death? This action once again called up Nujiao, who was thinking about her own problems. At the same time, she was still considering that the evil cultivators in the spirit world were rampant. If Sun Qiniang could be kept alive, she would first follow her to the sea to retrieve the magic knife, and then go to the spirit world. The evil cultivators in the spirit world are rampant. If you want to be undisturbed and retreat to recover your peak before going to the fairy world, Sun Qiniang is still very useful. Thinking of this, Nujiao pretended to be angry and said, Qiniang, why are you so depressed? Zuyun doesn't want you anymore, but you still have me. Wea, you don't understand. Sun Qiniang was like crazy, saying, Zuyun said that when he returns to Lingjian sect, he will express his feelings to you. This is the strong medicine prescribed by Sun Qiniang. Sun Qiniang went to Qingping Fairyland with Zuyun. Neither Mengwea nor Nujiao knew what happened in Qingping Fairyland. There is no way to verify the truth of Sun Qiniang's words. But it made Nujiao's brain explode with a bang. This strong medicine aroused Mengwea's hidden soul. Zuyun is finally going to express his feelings to me. Then I will fight to the death to regain control of this body. After discovering the unusual movement in the purple mansion, Nujiao screamed, Mengwea, you are not dead yet. Nujiao, don't even think about it. Mengwea's voice resounded throughout the purple mansion. Nujiao cursed, bitch, you are willing to give your body up for a cultivator from the lower realm. Mengwea retorted, you are worse than me. You gave yourself to the immortal emperor, but the immortal emperor never looked at you straight in the eye. Nujiao has Mengwea's memory, and Mengwea also has Nujiao's memory. These words are equivalent to ruthlessly exposing the wound that Nujiao has been licking deep in her heart. I want you to die, I want you to die. Sun Qiniang is pretending to be crazy, but Nujiao is really crazy. The magic energy in the purple mansion surged wildly, rushing towards the direction where Mengwe's voice came from. Just when she found the corner where Mengwe was hiding, she felt a sharp pain in her body. Sun Qinyang, you are looking for death. Moun's attention quickly returned to the body. Nu Jiao saw an incredible scene. Sun Qinyang had no expression on her face and stabbed her lower abdomen with a sword. Do you think I didn't find out that you are not the real Mengwe? Sun Qinyang spoke coldly, and Mengwe's soul also took advantage of the opportunity and counterattacked. If it was Nu Jiao in her prime, she would not have a chance to breathe. But this is the mortal world. Nu Jiao's realm is not enough, and she was completely caught off guard, and Mengwe's fear of the dreamer in his heart, so she was seized. Now that Nu Jiao was careless, Moun was suppressed by Mengwe. You know, Mengwe's soul has reached the stage of transformation. In this mortal world, it is not affected. Mengwe, you are just a pair of my magic eyes, how dare you turn against me? Suffering from severe pain, Sun Qinyang's wind and thunder dragon sword, with endless lightning, ravaged her lower abdomen, constantly eroding the magic energy she had finally gathered. People see the world with their eyes, I am the eye, and I should be the master of this body. Born with magic eyes, I was born with the magic eye Mengwe first, and then you, Nu Jiao, the saint of the holy demon clan. Without me, you are just the lowest person in the holy demon clan. Mengwe is not at a disadvantage at all. She knows that at this time, the competition is not about who is stronger between her Yuan Shen and Nu Jiao's magic Yuan. But whoever loses his mind first will be defeated. Mengwe has experienced countless life and death, and his experience is far richer than Nu Jiao, and his determination is absolutely incomparable to the other party. In addition, Sun Qinyang stabbed her from time to time, dividing her mind. Nu Jiao gradually lost the upper hand. Mengwe, we have a better solution. I think you are right. Nu Jiao finally begged for mercy. Mengwe's soul transformed into a human figure, and her stunning appearance finally revealed a peerless smile. I also think I am right. However, I don't need you to think so. I think so myself. After that, she waved her hand, and a flame suddenly lit up from the purple mansion. Ang! A dragon roared. Skyfire Dragon. This is the killer move she has been preparing for. It's just that she has never had the chance. Now, it's time to use it. Mengwe has practiced the soul fire symbiosis art, and has long shared life and death with the Skyfire Dragon. If she doesn't die, the Skyfire Dragon can live. And facing the Skyfire, the spirit body can't resist at all. Skyfire Dragon, it's me, I am your master. Nu Jiao was hysterical. She thought she had completely devoured Mengwe and completely controlled the Skyfire. It's just that she never thought of controlling the Skyfire. In other words, she still doesn't like Skyfire. Are you worthy of being my master? The Skyfire Dragon turned into a fire dragon, swallowing Nu Jiao's magic essence completely. She could not understand why she died under the despised Skyfire. She could not understand it even more. She finally found her natural magic eye, but the magic eye developed its own intelligence and became the master. Nu Jiao died. Mengwe woke up slowly. Sun Qinyang was still stabbing her with the sword. Qinyang, stop stabbing, otherwise I would not die in Nu Jiao's hands, but you would kill me. With a familiar tone, Sun Qinyang immediately stopped the sword in her hand, her eyes were instantly blurred, and burst out like a flood. Wea, you are finally okay. Sun Qinyang threw the wind and thunder dragon sword aside, rushed over and hugged Mengwe tightly. Qinyang, let's talk about it later, do you have any pills? Give me one first. Mengwe almost fell to the ground, and said helplessly. Yes, I have pills. Sun Qinyang poured out all the pills in her ring. Mengwe picked up one and swallowed it. I need to practice quietly here for a while, you go wait for me outside the formation. When I'm better, I'll come to you again. I have a lot to say to you. Meng Wei always felt that Sun Qinyang's previous words were all false, so he naturally wanted to verify it with her. As for the reason, Sun Qinyang is her good sister. And Zhu Yun would never say such dirty words to dislike Sun Qinyang. What's more, her magic eyes can still see that Sun Qinyang is still a virgin.